So today we're going to do part 2 of installation drivers. Now there's a lot more to them that I didn't cover in part 1, which we're going to cover here in part 2 in comparison. And also we got something here that Milwaukee has determined basically North America doesn't need. This is the FPDX. Now I did import this from Germany with a cost for this kit of $350. From the best I could tell, this tool came out late 2018, early 2019, but of course it's still being sold in Europe, but not over here in North America. Now it does come in this solid hard plastic case, which looks to be modular, where you could latch another one there on top. If we open it up, the top portion has a foam insert with a plastic tray sitting here in the center. Comes with two 2-amp-hour batteries, which are a little bit different looking, but of course are still made in China. Battery charger there with the European plug. The drill itself, which, yeah, it's the biggest of the installation drivers I've looked at. An actual 1/2-inch chuck versus the 3/8 on the one we see over here in North America. The offset has a metal housing here with a plastic coupler there. And the offset looks to have a metal housing with a rubberized cover. And again, a plastic tray insert, which you could remove. I don't think for durability this is going to be the greatest, or of course for storage, but it will keep the tool organized. Now when we compare it versus the one that's sold here in the US, yeah, it's quite a bit bigger. It's about the same length, but the width, yeah, quite a bit more. Now, one thing to note, this does have a hammer function versus this just has drill driver function. And when we compare it to the current generation drill, yeah, quite a bit longer there. But what's interesting with this, if you notice right here, the attachment is different than what's commonly used on the rest. Here you just have a ring, and then the Bosch uses that locking mechanism where you have to turn the collar, which it's not a major deal here, pretty straightforward. But what's interesting is it's not actually driving the hex right here. Now in a normal attachment, it drives the hex. Here you can see no hex inside there. Basically, what's driving the attachment is those locking balls inside. And it slides right on real quick and easy. I'd almost say it's easier than using this style. So definitely something unique there, which is only found on this FPDX. I do wish it had a full metal chuck. I don't know why you would go through all the effort of having a metal housing on the other attachments, but not a full metal chuck. But I do like that it is 1/2-inch. Let's get it over on the dyno, get some numbers with different batteries, and see how this actually compares to the rest and the current generation regular M12 drill. So like normal over here on the drill dyno, I'm going to do 3 pulls with each battery. I'll show you the best run, and then we'll compare the data to the other ones. So yeah, some pretty good power numbers. I mean, that was to be expected, definitely with how big this drill actually is. And of course, the highest performance came from the 5-amp-hour battery. And now I did remove the 2 Metabos from this. If you're looking for those, you can reference part 1. And the same thing here with maximum torque and low. Now it is interesting, from all the 12-volt drills I have tested, this actually comes in third, even though it is a installation driver. Placing it above the Dewalt installation driver, which, yeah, definitely quite a bit smaller there with the Dewalt. But keep in mind, again, this was released late 18, and it's the only one with a hammer drill function. Now, a few other things we did look at in part one with the other installation drivers. Attachment, again, pretty quick and easy with this design. With your 90 degree, it is locking there, but you do not have locking up on the top. Now, I will say, you do have that rubber there, and it kind of holds it a little bit, but it is not locking to the 90. It's only locking to the drill itself. But of course, the offset there is locking as well. Now, actual magnet strength, definitely pretty good there considering all this weight. And you can use it as a straight hex driver. Now, with the offset installed, the distance from center, of course, to the table here is pretty bad at 0.6. And that's actually the worst compared to the rest, with the Festool looking Milwaukee actually coming in at the slimmest there with around 0.34. And you can probably see that here in comparison, just how much slimmer the one, of course, that's common in the US is versus the European one. To be honest here, the variable triggers do seem pretty good across the board. Maybe with the brushed ones a little bit rough there, but they are pretty good and comparable to each other. Now, this is a little tricky to see there probably on camera. When these are tilted up, so level, with the bottom of the motor here on the table, height-wise, the worst coming in, not surprisingly, the FPDX, followed by the brushed Metabo, the Festool Milwaukee, Hilti, shockingly the brushed Bosch, which looks quite a bit longer. But what gives it the advantage is how far the bit actually sits inside this hex. Then we have the Dewalt brushless Metabo and brushless Bosch. Now, when we're talking the 90s, you're going to have greater access with the Metabo, Hilti, and the Festool copied Milwaukee. And the worst is going to be the Dewalt Bosch here and the European Milwaukee. Now, for the most part, with the bit installed, these are relatively close, except for the EU Milwaukee, half an inch actually higher there with this 90. So you're not going to be able to get into as tight of an area with this 90 as well. Now, what's this look like drill chuck wise? Again, the worst here being the European Milwaukee there. And the rest, with the bit installed, fully seated, are relatively close. Now, with the chucks fully closed, things more favor the Metabo Dewalt versus the Milwaukee Hilti and the European Milwaukee. And here's some general specs here in comparison with the others. If you want to go ahead and pause it here, I'm going to move through this pretty quick. So you have just a little bit more comparison and a look at this European Milwaukee version. Again, I recommend you take a look at part 1 there for more information and comparison. I do question why we haven't seen this in North America. Yes, you could say, oh, well, look at the performance. You know, you can't get in close as you can with the others. And I agree with that. But you also have to keep in mind that this thing is going out almost 5 years old now. Now we know Milwaukee can do this, so why can't they take this and add this to this, make a seemingly normal drill version similar to this? You would think this would be more prominent in the EU market where Festool is more common, which they do have this over there, and then you'd think this would be more common in North America with a regular style drill. Personally, to me, I would still go with the Dewalt. Honestly, it really comes down to what platform you're running and what real features you want it to have. Bosch is definitely a good candidate. Metabo, I would probably stay away from here. There's not too many retailers carrying this anymore. And yeah, line and support is limited here in North America. Hilti, like I said before, I like the quality. It's a lot of money. It's definitely a lot of money when you look at the other alternatives on the market. So yeah, hopefully you found this video useful. Sorry I'm a little congested, just trying to get over the flu there I had last week. Definitely quite interesting to see that the Europeans have this installation driver and we don't. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.